Do. Oh, right. I'm not ready.
There was a countdown and everything.
I know there's a countdown and everything. I should just went right to the intro. But first, okay. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast, live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We come on here and record our podcast. So how this works is we start the show by reviewing our movie that we previewed last week. And last week we previewed two movies for our second drive-in special, Leprechaun 2 and Grizzly 2, The Revenge. And by preview, I mean we check the synopsis, the movie posters, taglines. We go over reviews, good and bad, critics and audience members. Then we go over what we actually remember about the movies, although neither of us saw Grizzly 2 until now, unfortunately for me. Then we watch the trailer and make predictions on whether or not we're going to like it as much as we remember liking, or if we're going to like it at all. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, sometimes not as much, and sometimes we don't even agree. So after our second drive-in special reviews, we are going to preview our new movie, a movie I am very excited about because it's been a minute. And by that, I mean a while. Another great, at least I remember it being great, creature feature from the 90s, which was probably the best decade for creature features.
It was a pretty good decade for it.
At least really fun ones. And from 1997, Anaconda. But first, we'll start our live show. And then we'll hop into our drive-in special.
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling. Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. We are so happy you joined us. I have watched Leprechaun 2. Have you, Anna?
I have now.
I have. Oh, so you haven't seen it before?
I hadn't seen it before. No.
Okay.
So this was a brand spanking new movie for me.
Well, then it's two brand spanking movies. So you got two new ones.
Yeah, it was an experience.
I have also, with great regret, disdain, and malice, if I could, to the filmmakers, watch Grizzly 2. Have you watched Grizzly 2?
I have watched Grizzly 2. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so both of us watched the double feature. Let's start with Leprechaun 2. What are your initial thoughts? You've never seen it.
I had never seen it. And now I know why. Because my God, that was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was so bad. Not as bad as I thought it would be, though. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
But my expectations were super, super low. So,
I'm kind of confused because, okay, first, this movie in a way is far superior to the first Leprechaun. Like the scope is bigger, from farmhouse to small town to LA. The story seems to be tighter. I didn't say good story. I mean,
no, it's a shitty story.
Yeah,
but there were fewer plot holes.
Yeah, it's clear and coherent and a fault. Yeah, and the acting seems to be better in most spots. And I don't think and that doesn't mean it makes it a better movie.
No,
because this movie is terrible.
It's so terrible. I have so many feelings about it.
But I wasn't caught off guard about it. Like you said, I was expecting terrible.
Well, yeah, if you base it off of Leprechaun, you're like,
Yeah.
this has got to be terrible. And I was like, oh, it's not as terrible.
Now I did see this movie, and
Hmm.
I now remember 3 and 4. I think I saw 5 in the hood.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see the second one in the hood. But yeah, anyways, we're not talking about those shitty movies. We're talking about this shitty movie.
Correct.
So let's dive in. Oh, first I'll bring up the where are you here? Not you. There you are. Ugh. Fuck. Okay, so 1,000 years ago in Ireland, an evil leprechaun celebrates his 1,000th birthday on St. Patrick's Day. It was also his birthday, I believe.
Mm.
He tells his slave, a man named William O'Day, that he has found the perfect bride. Once he marries, the leprechaun promises to grant O'Day his freedom. By this time, I'm like, wow, this is bad.
Yeah.
we just got like, but I was watching it like a made for TV horror movie, like a sci-fi shitty. Like I wasn't into it,
Yeah.
but I was accepting of it. Yeah, I gave in. Like I knew it was
Yeah.
gonna be bad, so I just kind of gave in. O'Day is overjoyed at first, but is horrified to see the leprechaun has chosen his beautiful daughter. Despite O'Day's pleas, the leprechaun says that she will be his once she sneezes three consecutive times. Sneezes once, she sneezes twice, she
Twice.
sneezes
Thrice.
thrice. Without anyone saving her by saying God bless you. Once the leprechaun manipulates her to start sneezing, O'Day says, God bless you, my child, freeing her from the leprechaun. O'Day is then killed by the leprechaun, who promises to marry an O'Day descendant on his next 1,000th birthday.
Mm.
Silly story, sure.
100%.
But unlike the first leprechaun, this one's a little easier to follow.
Yes. This
Yes.
one was more linear.
Yeah. Yes. Again, it doesn't mean it's a good movie.
No.
I gotta make that quite clear. On St. Patrick's Day in present day Los Angeles, a young man named Cody works with his uncle Morty, giving dark side tours, a scam that drives tourists to allegedly resting places of celebrities. When Morty is too drunk to drive, Cody does so, forcing him to cancel a date with his girlfriend Bridget,
Mm.
who is obviously the same actress that was the
Yes.
when the leprechaun was going to die. I recognized all those tourists in the scene, which was great. Like Ron Howard's brother. Shit.
Whose name I can never remember.
Yeah.
You're Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah, Ron Howard's brother.
And
If I met him, that's what I'd probably fucking say too. That's probably what he gets a lot too. But his wife,
Clint Howard.
that's right. His wife in the movie, the bigger guy, they were all recognizable.
Kimmy Robertson was the wife.
That's
And
right.
I was like, I've seen you in so many comedies.
A lot, yeah.
So many. I was like, well, at least I know you. Yeah, no, I recognized them all, and I was like, oh, hey guys, this is fun.
And also Uncle Morty, played by Sandy Barron, will always be Jack Columbus to me from Seinfeld. He was the angry neighbor of his mom and dad down in Florida. He was only in 4 episodes, but they were very memorable episodes.
He made an impression.
Yes. He drops Bridget off at a go-kart track run by his pretentious rival, Ian. Prior to Bridget's departure, the leprechaun emerges from one of the tour stops, an Irish tree that was present at the home of Harry Houdini. I'll be honest, my attention was not grabbed and held during this whole movie. I had no idea this was a Harry Houdini's home. I don't know if that actually was said or...
I didn't catch the connection either.
Okay, good.
All I knew was that there was a homeless guy. There was a bottle of whiskey, which I got to say I was a little offended when he was like, Canadian blended.
Whiskey,
The only one is Irish. And I was like, sir, Canada has some very good whiskey. Probably not the bottle he's drinking, but we do. We have some very good whiskey. Anyways, I just thought but I was like, I was a little annoyed by that. But he drank the whiskey, woke up, and
came out of the tree. Yeah. I don't know how. I really wasn't paying that much attention. I just saw him come out of the tree.
Literally, the bottle was rolled towards the tree.
And that's how he came
And
out.
then there was a little bit of a like tug of war with the homeless guy and the bottle. And then when he finally got the bottle out, a light came up and then he came out of the tree. And I was like,
Okay.
was it the whiskey that triggered it? Also, how did he end up in the tree?
Yeah. Well, it was his 1000th birthday. I don't know.
True.
But
But
the
I'm like,
tree,
but the previous movie, like, I don't,
maybe the tree followed her. I don't
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know. Maybe the tree's a portal. Maybe it was the tree kind of stumped me a little bit because I was like, why is he in the tree?
And that's what I mean. I'm like, did I miss something? And I
Yeah.
wasn't going to rewind to find out.
No, you're good.
I was
Don't
fine
worry.
with missing something. The leprechaun tears out the gold tooth of a homeless man and goes off to search for his new bride, revealed to be Bridget, a descendant of the O'Day bloodline. And which she also looked exactly like the other one from the beginning of the movie. It wasn't hard to follow.
No.
At least when he ripped out the tooth, he poured whiskey in the guy's mouth to stave off infection.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
However, the ripping out of the tooth, because I have an incredible fear of knocking my teeth out. Like I have like
And being gummy.
just knocking my teeth. It's not even the being gummy part because I know I can
just
get like
knocking.
just knocking my teeth out. So when I saw him pull the tooth out, I was like, oh God, oh. So that was nice. At least they got a reaction out of me from that. It had nothing to do with the actual movie, but I was just like, you're really yanking on that tooth.
Yeah.
That cannot be comfortable.
A frustrated Cody speeds through a red light and is arrested. Morty picks him up from the police station. Like I didn't find it to say I was I completely bored. Was I as bored as the first one? I don't know. It was still a rough sit through. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I was not fully engaged
No.
because I was just like, okay, homeless guy stole the tooth, makes sense. Starts walking, great. I was like, it's fine.
Ian drives Bridget home and attempts to force his way inside her home to hook up with her, but she punches him. That was like the total definition of a girl punch.
Yeah.
For a movie, come on, sound effects, some acting. You could have hit him a lot harder than that. That was pretty freaking bad.
Yeah, but you got to think about like how weak is Ian that's all it takes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Just kind of solidifies Bridget's choice to be like, no, you can't come in.
Yeah, I'd
Can't
say
even take a punch, girly punch at that.
As he's leaving, Ian sees Bridget beckoning him to come into the garage. I was suspicious immediately.
Me too.
that wasn't Bridget.
Because my first thought was, how'd she get there? I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, and I know it's fake. I know all of this is imagined. And still I had the thought, how did she get to the garage so fast?
Yeah, in white lacy.
In that beautiful white blouse.
Yeah, first, did she change her mind? Wait a minute. I think there's some shenanigans afoot here. The site is revealed to be a trick by the leprechaun, who has given a running lawnmower her appearance. I don't know what the fuck that thing was, but I don't think it was a lawnmower.
I don't think it was a lawnmower either.
No.
It looked kind of like a giant fan, but it also had like actual sharp blades.
Yeah.
So unless it was a lawnmower like laying down with the bottom of it like,
but it had two to
forward.
signify boobies.
It had two. That's right, because we saw the boobies.
Yeah.
And Ian was apparently mesmerized by the boobies. He couldn't snap out of it and wonder
Which
how
he
the
would
girl who
be.
just punched him is all like, here are my titties.
All is forgiven.
All is forgiven. Let's make out.
That's how it works for me. If someone's mean to me and then shows me their titties, I'm like, oh, all is forgiven. That should be the I'm sorry. That's what they should do with cards.
Way to have high standards. Way to have high standards.
And I will give some extra points for the two fans being Bridget's titties. Then I'll take those extra points away because Bridget used stunt titties, as we found out back in our trivia. So Siobhan Durkin, is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah, it's too good to show us her titties.
And good for her. Good
Didn't
for
want
her for drawing a line and making a boundary and being like, you cannot have my titties. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to hire someone else.
didn't
Or,
want you to.
they could have just not done completely bare titties. Even just a bra on the titties would have been enough to convey the
Yeah,
emotion. You don't need nipples for a guy to be enamored with boobs. This is the rule.
that's true, but something about those nipples.
I'm going with the titties were a little gratuitous in this movie, and they did not need to be. They did not need to be so prominent
Yeah.
or so
Yeah.
close. They didn't have to pull the camera so close.
Yeah, they don't want to show the face either.
Well,
'Cause
that's
it
fine.
wasn't Siobhan
They
Durkin.
all you
That
have
would
to
have
do,
really took me out of the movie
you
if they
position
showed
the
boobies and it
camera.
was like some other
There are a
woman's
million
face.
ways to position the camera that you still get full boobies and not a face.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know this
wonder
from
why
personal
she did it.
experience, but
Siobhan Durkin wasn't a very. Yeah, I guess if you're not comfortable and they were willing to do it, that's awesome that they did. That they were willing to do that.
yeah. Well, didn't this one have like a much bigger
It did. It
budget?
had a between
Yeah.
1.5 and 2.
Yeah. So I mean they had the money for it and it was like a day player and someone who's like, hey, you want to come in and show your tits? And
Yeah.
someone was comfortable enough to do that. So with a relatively similar skin tone.
Yeah.
Some people are not bothered by it. By
Yeah.
showing
Some
off
people
their
aren't.
yeah. And
And
some people like Siobhan are, and they're like, no, thank you. I don't want the entire world to see my tits. Thanks.
yeah, I've got an audition for Tammy and the T-Rex coming up, and I do not want it ruined. And I also have Love Boat: The Next Wave coming on. Fuck you, Siobhan. I was watching that scene, and it was the titties, and the first thing that popped in my head, like stunt titties. Like, it ruined it for me or something. Fucking trivia's ruining it for me. But that was my first thought. Stunt titties.
See, my first thought was,
oh wait, I lost you there. Say that again. I didn't hear it.
my first thought was, why are we so close on the titties?
Yeah, it's like
Like,
you said. It's like they don't know they can do
like you
an
can put
extra
some of the set
to look
in the
like I'm putting my hand up.
background. You can also have like a 2-shot with his face and the titties, like his face coming towards the titties, like from profile. There are a million ways you can
Yeah,
show the titties, not show the face, but not be like have an extreme close up. I'm like, I don't need to be able to count.
like those slumber party titties. They were the one in the
Those were
car.
those
Those
were
are so
so
close up
close.
titties.
Yeah. That was intense. I was like,
Like
that's
I was
almost
like, good thing this movie's not in 3D. That would have been some scary titties. That's too
it was
close.
already honestly in that one when they went for the because it was an extreme close up. I was like, we don't need to be this close. There is no reason. No, it's disturbing and uncomfortable. Move it back.
Yeah, like even me, like I was like,
It's very jarring.
Really, that's a big close up on those titties. That titty.
Yeah.
And that guy's hand is really aggressive.
Yeah, no, it was not necessary. Just like the titties, I think in this film were not necessary. Put a little white lace bra on her.
Yeah.
Just sexy.
Yeah. Ian is killed as he goes to kiss what he thinks are her breasts, but are actually the spinning mower blades. Again, what the fuck was that thing?
I'm sad we didn't see this kill. But
Yeah,
I
because
enjoyed the kill.
What's that?
I enjoyed the kill.
Yes, because it sounded good.
Yes.
I would have
And
liked to seen it.
It would have been great.
Would have
Like,
been
give me
cool.
some. You don't have to show me everything, but give me some flying like face pieces.
Yeah, even a shot like behind his head and some stuff
Yeah.
coming out like that. That would have been cool.
100%.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned that Bridget had that device in her garage.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm wondering what her dad does as a hobby.
Serial killing by the looks of it.
Probably.
Again, Cody visits Bridget and gives her flowers, and they reconcile. The leprechaun has snuck inside and begins to make her sneeze, which Cody thinks is caused by the flowers and attempts to say, God bless you, but suddenly begins to be strangled by a phone cord before he can finish saying it. The leprechaun then appears to claim her. After a scuffle with Cody, escapes with Bridget, but loses one of his gold coins after Bridget's knocked the pot of gold out of his hands. which lands in Cody's possession.
Mm.
Maybe because the first Leprechaun was trying to make 2 movies at the same time, but again, this movie did seem a little more focused, more. I
I
least-
wasn't mad at the story of this
Yeah.
movie. I wasn't mad even of the pacing of this movie. I wasn't mad at that. Like, it was still boring.
Yeah.
It didn't have enough substance to it.
Yeah.
Nothing really caught my attention. It was all very, oh god, how just one-toned.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, they tried to convince me with very dramatic music when something dramatic was happening,
Yeah.
but they turned up the volume on it so hard. I was like, sirs, stop trying to convince me this is dramatic.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and have not heard our Leprechaun, the first movie with Jennifer Aniston podcast, we learned. Again, did I
learned
mention
or
I'm a
learnt?
writer?
You can use either one. I know there are specific grammar rules. I tend to say learned.
Learned. Yeah. But we found out that the writer / director of the first movie was actually, he wanted the film to be a PG-13 kind of kids family fantasy movie with light horror, but the studio wanted a full out R-rated horror film, and that clash of creativity really came through the movie. This one, although a big pile of dog poo, is more focused on the horror.
It had a clear message and
Yeah.
it followed through on it. I'll give him that.
Yep. The Leprechaun takes her to his lair and plans to make her his bride, but realize a coin is missing, and then he leaves her to get the coin back. Not before making some pretty risque boudoir comments. Topped off with a boudoir. Topped off with a very saliva-filled lick of the side of her face.
That was so gross.
That was gross. Even I thought that was gross.
I spit, like that kind of spit where it just kind of like dribbles down.
Oh, it was thick and runny at the same time.
And
like,
it
how
was
did you do
cloudy
that?
too. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh God.
It went all over her face.
Yeah. And I also can't deal with snot. Grosses me out. So when he did that, and licking people's faces has always been weird to me.
It is weird.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But there are people who are like, ha ha ha, so funny, I lick your face. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who dropped you on your head? Why are you licking other people's faces? So when he did the lick, it was already gross. But then when the spit and saliva just starts like, I was like, oh my God. And I almost puked. It was really gross.
That was gross.
Yeah.
Since Cody left the flowers behind, he is considered a prime suspect in Ian's death and Bridget's disappearance. Cody returns home and consults a book with Morty. They learn about the Leprechaun's search for a bride and that a cast iron is one of his weaknesses. Yeah, Uncle Morty was a bit skeptical at first, but it didn't take long to persuade him that the Leprechaun was real. Like, he was on board pretty quick. It went from Cody denying the murder and kidnapping, blaming on the Leprechaun, and him being, you're crazy, and then let's go catch this Leprechaun.
Well, because the Leprechaun showed up, right? So he was like, oh, it is real. Not this could be a little person dressed as a leprechaun because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
No. He's like, real leprechaun. I was like, what? But okay,
yeah.
Morty.
The Leprechaun suddenly attacks, demanding his coin back. Cody makes a deal to give the coin in exchange for Bridget, unaware the Leprechaun plans to double cross him. Morty intervenes and they escape to a bar celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Morty notices the Leprechaun at the bar and challenges to a drinking contest, reasoning with Cody that Bridget can't be harmed as long as the Leprechaun is with him. This is where the little people, is that okay to say?
Yeah, little people is the correct term.
Okay. Cheer him on and one of us.
Yes. But before he starts drinking, God bless Leprechaun, in the bathroom with the creepy little
Ronnie
person.
Cox. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And he's trying to give him chocolate and just the eyes and the smile.
Yeah, I thought it was the Leprechaun in disguise.
Me too.
Yeah, because he was acting really
wasn't.
weird.
It was just a creepy man
weirdo.
giving out chocolate and then trying to figure out how to pee in the urinal he's too short for. And I was very confused. And I was like, but okay. But then the Leprechaun does actually show up.
Yes. And I will say this: there were points where, because when he was sitting at the bar tapping his fingers, he looked menacing. Like he did look,
Yes.
but they weren't able to utilize that through the whole movie.
No.
But Warwick Davis was definitely way more comfortable as a Leprechaun in this movie. Like he was kind of into it more, and that could have been the whole thing of them going from kids movie to horror movie. And
like this movie was not having an identity crisis like the first one.
no, yeah,
First one
exactly.
had an identity crisis. This one knew exactly what it was. It knew what it wanted to accomplish. It just fell short.
Yeah,
but it wasn't confused. No pun intended.
Anna made a pun at the expense of a little person.
Anna's not that far off from being a little person, so
so you're pretty short, aren't you?
Yes, if I round up my height, I'm 5'3", so I'm not that far off.
From 4'11",
because I think you have to be 4'11" for it to be classified.
So.
I think it's like 4'11" or 4'10", and then I think they actually classify that as disability. I'm not 100% sure. I could be very wrong, but I'm not that far off from that. And everybody makes fun of me for being short. It's fine.
Morty wins the contest, but the Leprechaun escapes. I will say this: Morty is, up until now, a pretty good match for the Leprechaun. Seems to be knowing what he's doing.
Yes, I was hopeful.
The Leprechaun sobers up an espresso bar, killing an obnoxious barista. Okay, Michael McDonald played the barista. If you're listening to this, this is before he was on Mad TV, but I love Michael McDonald. I still do Stewart impressions with my kids.
Oh my God, I do them all the time with everybody. It doesn't matter if my friends are like, hey, you want to go for a walk? I'm like, no, I don't wanna. And some of my friends have never seen Mad TV, so I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. Well, my kids think that that's just me. I made that up. Whatever. I'll take credit for you. Fuck you, Michael McDonald. What are you going to do? I didn't know he was in this. And I was like, that kind of woke me up a bit from my Leprechaun self-induced coma. I'm like, oh my God, Stewart.
Well, he was in the trailer for like a half a second.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
So I was like, oh, Stewart. That was my first thought.
Yeah.
And then
look what I can do.
In this one, in the movie, when he actually shows up, his scene, I was like, oh, you make such a great, cranky barista.
Yeah.
Just before closing time, that one customer who won't leave, I'm like, I feel your pain, sir. I feel your pain.
And then the Leprechaun kills him, boils him to death,
It was a great death, though. Yeah,
for a low budget horror movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. I
was like, good job.
Remembering the Leprechaun's weakness, Cody and Morty go to the go-kart track and empty the facility's cast iron safe, intending to capture the Leprechaun inside. It did not take long for them to get into that safe. Barely an inconvenience. Yeah. A security guard nearby catches them, but Morty knocks him out. As the arriving Leprechaun attacks Morty, Cody is able to trick and capture him inside the safe. I'm ashamed to admit this. I didn't even see this part coming. For those listening, Cody is hiding behind the door and taunting the Leprechaun, but there is a doggy door, and the Leprechaun is like, I'm going to dive through and bite this dick off or something. I don't know. The Leprechaun dives in and goes straight into the safe. This is how stupid this movie is. It made me stupidest or stupider, whatever. It made me dumb. Because I'm like, oh, look at that. Yeah, I just started a new book. My editor's probably going to put in a new fucking bathroom by the time he's done with my book.
He's like, I need a pool. Let's start encouraging Jimmy to write a new book.
Reno my kitchen. But yeah, that actually was kind of, I didn't see that coming.
It was a little clever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it too much credit because let's be real.
And I was not completely focused on the movie. So, however, Morty locks Cody in a supply closet and demands the Leprechaun gives him 3 wishes, as is tradition.
And this is where Morty goes wrong.
Yeah.
We were like, Morty, you were doing so great. And now you don't care about poor Cody, and now
No.
it's just about getting yours.
Yeah, and once the leprechaun smells that grade,
That's it.
he makes some bad rhymes. Morty first wishes for the leprechaun's pot of gold. The wish is unspecifically granted as the pot manifests inside Morty's stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Although Morty or Sandy Barron can act, or could, he passed away in 2001, I believe. This was a horrible effect,
This was terrible.
but not as bad as when he had to crawl over to unlock the safe. Like that was bad.
Yeah. That was
That
also
was
terrible.
the exact moment this movie ran out of money. They're like, we don't have any more money. This is the last couple of scenes. We don't have money to do this.
Yeah.
The leprechaun says he can help remove it, tricking Morty into using his second wish to set him free from the safe. For his final wish, Morty asks for the pot to be removed, and the leprechaun does so by tearing his stomach open, killing Morty. You think he would have like thrown in, remove it, but without hurting me.
Well, magically remove it so I'm unharmed.
Yeah.
There's your wish.
Take notes,
But
kids.
I was like, did you not learn from the first wish where you just said you wanted the pot of gold?
Yeah.
You got to be
Yeesh.
specific with this shit. So I'm like, like literally 2 minutes ago, you made a wish that put you in this predicament because you were not specific. You'd think you'd learn while you're in excruciating pain, and you're like, let's not do any more harm to myself. But no,
Yeah.
Morty didn't listen. His greed was speaking louder than him.
So the leprechaun says he can help remove it. Tricking Morty. No, where am I? For his final wish, Morty asks for his pot to be removed, and the leprechaun does so by tearing his stomach, killing Morty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Cody escapes the closet, but is apprehended by the security guard, who believes Cody responsible for all the killings. The leprechaun suddenly attacks him with a go-kart, killing the security guard. Again, they went with a go-kart for the leprechaun.
Mm-hmm.
And this cart was a step up from the last movie.
Yes, it was a personalized go-kart
Yeah,
with
me
me
gold.
gold written on the side. Yes,
Spray
with like
painted.
a fur trimmed seat, if I was not mistaken.
I
Like
think
it
so.
was very snazzy, painted green, lots of little horns on it. I was
Yeah.
like, when did he have time to make this?
Props people must have a blast. Like, I know it's hard with no money, but sometimes you get a lot more creative.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You're busting out egg cartons and shit, and you're like, we can make this work.
Yeah. He attempts to run over Cody, but Cody discovers that he can't be killed as long as he has the gold coin. He makes his way to the leprechaun's lair. Yeah, again, the
Mhm.
it didn't look that bad as far as leprechaun lairs go.
It looked like a set.
It did
was
look
like
like a
that-
set, yeah.
That is foam rock, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If that's what, but whoever was painting that set apparently has never looked at what natural rock looks like, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. They only had like between 1.5 and $2 million to work with it, so of course it
Yeah, I
looks
think you
like.
get some rocks.
Or just shoot on location.
Or shoot on location. I'm sure there's a
Like,
cave or two.
There's bound to be a cave somewhere, or like there's so many. Find one painter, like a muralist, who can make that look like real rock.
Hmm.
Something.
In the lair, Cody defeats the living skeleton of O'Day and frees Bridget. Again, low budget creativity. The skeleton wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be when it started. I thought it was going to be horrific. It wasn't. It was no Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. A movie made like 30 or 40 years
No,
before this triumph.
this skeleton was pure marionette.
Yes.
I was like, it's so the movements are so jerky and exaggerated, and you're like, there really is someone like just sitting above it with strings, and you're not even trying to hide that. You're just like, "Do, do, 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 do." And I was like,
Yeah.
it starts making it feel comical.
Yes.
Like, I think I'm supposed to be scared at this point, right?
Oh yeah, if you're thinking, yeah, it was not scary. I'm just
Yeah.
like, they got some of the movements pretty good, and it was O'Day, his slave from the beginning of the movie, which when he lifted O'Day up at the beginning of the movie, I actually saw strings holding him up. I had I don't know if it's because my TV, but the HD. But I saw the strings. I should have got.
Interesting.
I should have watched like the SD version or something.
I was not watching that closely, to be perfectly
Oh.
honest.
Yeah, it was horrible. Anyways, they attempt to escape the labyrinth-like lair, but get separated. Cody finds Bridget, who asks Cody to give the coin to her. He does so, and she is revealed to be the leprechaun in disguise. After making out with him, gross.
At least the leprechaun didn't lick his face.
Yeah, that's true. And I know in today's political climate, like you're leprechaun phobic. I don't care. I'd be grossed out. Actually, if I was the director, I'd make the leprechaun transform from hot blonde to gross leprechaun mid makeout. that would have been awesome.
That probably would have had a little more impact than the whole like
Yes.
walking backwards and then the voice changes.
Way more effective.
Yeah.
I'm sure they talked about it, and Cody was like, "No way, man." He had a special coming up Beverly Hills 90210 as Streaker number 2. I have that written down
Nice.
here. Yeah, get off your high horse, Cody. The real Bridget reappears and begs Leprechaun to spare Cody, but the Leprechaun forces Cody to drive a cast iron stake into himself. Cody's death is revealed to be a ruse. He knew of the Leprechaun's trick as he gave the Leprechaun a chocolate coin. So he knew it, but the Leprechaun couldn't tell a chocolate coin from a gold coin. He was given the chocolate coin at the bar and still immune to Leprechaun's attacks. Cody rises and stabs the Leprechaun with a stake, causing him to violently combust. Cody and Bridget escape the lair. Cody discards the gold coin, remarking that it's not worth it. They emerge in the sunlight together and kiss. The end. Yay, it's over.
I found the ending so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It was just
'cause
like,
even
okay,
the first
cool.
one, it was that race against time to find the for 3-leaf or 4-leaf
Yeah.
clover, and then he melted and they blew up that well with some gasoline, and it was
But
it was
and then
stupid, but
they
it was
had
more
like a moment at the end of the first one where they were just like,
yeah.
oh God, it's over. Thank God. These guys, he flips a coin, they just start walking. And I'm like,
Yeah, making jokes. Ha ha ha,
"Uh,
who's the better
you-
kisser?
yeah. I was like, you
And if
you
you're
just
listening,
almost
that's
died.
actually from the movie. That's actually what they said. That they
Yeah, it
joked
was
around about who was.
so I was like, what an odd choice.
Yeah, you're almost about to be the sex toy of the leprechaun for the next 1,000 years. Like, I'd be a little more relieved than
I would also be mildly traumatic, tired.
yeah.
You're just like your adrenaline is now like dropping at this point. You're probably going to go into shock, but no, they're cracking jokes and just walking through the forest.
All right. So for dramatic effect and a score.
I'm giving it a 4. It's awful.
Wow. It is awful.
It is awful. It does have moments where I was like, "Oh, that's nice," like the barista death, or even in the very beginning where Leprechaun shows up and he tore the finger off of the guy who plays he actually ends up playing a teacher on Beverly Hills 90210 now that we mention it. Kind of a creepy teacher, but we're not gonna get into that. Anyways, so when he tore off his finger to get at his gold ring, uh, there were certain even when Ian dies in the garage, other than the boobies, I was like, "Great kill, very creative." So it had moments where I was like, "Okay, this is kinda fun. This feels like a good old-fashioned horror movie." But overall, it was shitty and boring, and I didn't wanna watch it all that much. I made it through,
Yep.
and the ending was very unsatisfying, but I was like, "I will never watch this again." It's fine, I guess, but it was just awful.
So would you watch this over the first one if given the choice? Because we rated this 3. I think we both rated it 3. Leprechaun 1. We rated
Yeah.
3.
Honestly, if I really had the choice, I wouldn't watch any of them,
Oh,
but if
no.
I had to choose, I'd probably watch this one.
This one?
Because the first one made me angry. Because I
Yeah.
was like, you guys could like this is just confused and it makes no sense. This one makes sense. It's just bad.
Yeah.
And not even like a good bad. It's just bad.
All right. Now, my score. Leprechaun is technically a better movie in every way than Leprechaun 1, but that is not saying much. The first movie had nostalgia and Jennifer Aniston, which was really the only thing it had going for it.
Mhm.
This movie, while better, was not much better and has no nostalgia or Jennifer Aniston. It had a more coherent story. They were obviously going for horror, but it still sucked. This time it was Warwick Davis that saved the film from being a complete snorefest. Sorry. He is definitely more comfortable and confident in this movie that he was really the one bright spot, even though the acting was better as a whole. Our final girl, who is actually Cody, but for argument's sake, Bridget, played by Siobhan Durkin, doesn't hold a candle to 1993 Jennifer Aniston. I'm talking acting, not looks.
True.
She doesn't hold to looks either. But this Leprechaun can keep his pot of gold. Again, I'm not completely mad I watched it, but I'm not watching it again if I have to, if I can help it. 3.5. It's atrocious, beyond awful. It had maybe the slightest bit of nostalgia and a few glimmers of hope, but in the end, we were wrong and our parents were right. And this is why we weren't allowed to pick the movies at Blockbuster for movie night. It's just, I did put 0.5 better than the first one. Yeah. Same as you. Surprisingly, it isn't dissuading me from wanting to watch more Leprechaun.
No, I wanna see where it goes. Like I
Yeah.
want to watch them all.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
'cause-
looking for that one that goes up to a 5 or a coveted 1 out of 10, which for us is
Yeah.
so bad it's good. Yeah.
It's funny though because I almost had a Leprechaun-a-thon, but then I was like, no. This was before we had decided to do the double features, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
no, I will not watch them.
Oh, we
Just in
definitely have to
case
keep going on
we
the
watch
Leprechaun.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should continue watching the Leprechauns because I am so curious what direction this franchise is going because I'm like,
Yeah.
first one, they didn't know what they were making. So they just combined the two paths that they were trying to take and came out with a hot mess. This one, they knew exactly what they were making, but it just wasn't very good
No.
at all. So I'm like, I wonder what 3 is going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember 3 more than I remember 2, and it takes place in Las Vegas.
Ooh, Vegas.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun time.
Number 4 takes place in space.
Why do they keep trying to put killers in space?
Yeah, it's always what do we do next? And then it's, well, we have no choice. We have to go to space. We've
of
done everything
course.
else. Okay, so why I liked it initially, and I know I saw this, but it was so bad I didn't really remember it. Again, it was a Blockbuster rental. It probably was on a weekend when I rented like 5 movies, and this was probably the 5th movie I picked, just because it was brand new, and because Leprechaun 1, before we watched it, I remembered it being more gorier, more
Yeah.
creepier. And then when we saw that trailer, it was like, whoa, what the hell happened to my memory? Just got blown away in a minute and a half of a trailer.
It happens to the best of us.
And you've never seen it.
I've never seen this one before because after I watched the first Leprechaun, I was like, no, I'm good. Now I'm glad I've seen it because I can't wait to see the progression
Yeah.
into further Leprechauns. But if I had watched this on its own, I still would not watch any other Leprechauns. I'd be
No.
like, this is some garbage.
Yeah. Now, if you liked it then, you should buy it, rent it, stream it, or skip it.
I had to rent this.
Did you really?
Where is it streaming for free?
They're all on Tubi. All of them.
No.
Yeah, that's where I watched mine. I had to watch a couple commercials, but totally willing to.
I forgot to check Tubi.
Always check Tubi. Or Plex. Plex is one too that I keep forgetting.
This is my bad. I paid for this.
Wow.
It was like $4, and
I would have paid 4 cents.
I regret my choices now. I would have put up with a few commercials to avoid that. But I also think it was already super hard to stay in the movie. If I had watched it with commercials, there's no way. There's
That
no
didn't
way.
help. Yeah.
Yeah.
As watching it with commercials, because I probably watched 4 or 5 commercials with it, it did not help the
Because
experience
there were a
at
couple
all.
times where I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I've been watching this. It just feels so boring. I
There
disconnected.
was what was it? There was a funny banking commercial that I enjoyed more than I did watching the movie.
So what you're saying is if we're going to watch these cheesy movies, we should definitely watch them on Tubi because at least the commercials might be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times. But yeah, no, I paid for this. I regret my choice. If you can stream it, watch it on Tubi if you can, because it adds to your movie knowledge. Because that's the only purpose that this movie serves. Just so
I
you
think
can reference it.
I think if you liked it then, I would say skip it. I think if you have fond memories of this movie, you should find
Mhm.
more people like yourself and come to terms on a suicide pact. And I just
Or
hope
not.
these people aren't procreating. No, I would say if you're really into the Leprechaun movies, yes, stream it. But if you are kind of like, I don't remember really liking them, definitely don't go back.
Just skip it.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, no. It's terrible.
Could it be rebooted to? Okay, if you've never seen it,
If you've never seen it, don't pay
yeah.
for it.
No, don't. Yeah,
Watch
I
it on
wouldn't even
Tubi.
say- Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Could it be rebooted or reimagined today?
I mean, I guess so, but why do you want to?
Yeah, I agree. Don't. Like unless you have a budget and go 100% horror
No,
in
if you
effect.
have an incredible budget and you like if Bloomhouse wanted to take this on, I'd
Yeah,
be like, you could probably do some fun shit with it. I'd give
Yeah.
it to him. But if it's just a generic, like the studio was like, let's
we have
remake
$1 million bucks.
No,
Let's see what we can
don't
do.
bother.
Don't please.
But if
Don't do it.
Bloomhouse walks in with like 15 to 20 million and he says,
Yeah.
let's do this, sure. Remake it.
Okay, so now that Leprechaun 2 is done, let's move on. So your initial thoughts on Grizzly 2, The Revenge?
This movie was an experience.
Fucking right it was.
It was an experience.
Not a
and
good one either.
I don't even know what to do with it. I
Yeah.
don't like it. So many questions, so many ponderances. I did not know what to do with it.
A lot of my notes have the word confused or confusion in.
90% of my notes end with huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
My initial thoughts are, what the fuck? I didn't even know what the hell I was watching half the time. Like, I'm curious because half this movie is concert footage of bands I don't think ever existed. And I mean them practicing and then performing with shots of the concerts.
But wait,
There were
there was a band that I don't think was filmed at the time.
There are shots that were shot in the 2020s. That
Yes.
shot of the parked cars, none of those cars were around in 1983.
The
None
band that
of
was
them.
performing where the guy had the top knot. I was like,
And
sir.
no microphone.
Yeah, well, he was singing he was singing.
And there was no
It was
wide
all
shot.
black. I was like,
Yeah,
what? You're not on
that was the
stage.
crew.
What?
That was part of the crew.
I was like,
And I
what the
think it's
fuck?
the crew either now, because it doesn't look like it was back in 1983.
No,
No,
that looks
it was
literally
much
like
clearer, crisper.
yes.
Yeah,
I was like, this is some digital shit.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the plot that I got is a little thin. Usually I would put some points that they missed or left out, but I
Yeah.
think this plot that I got is way too much as is.
Understandable. Are you going to change the Leprechaun too?
Oh, good call. Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
That's what I'm here for.
There you go. Rawr. Oh, that's what I should have downloaded. I'll put it in when we're when I'm editing, I'll put in rawr sound effects.
Yes.
Yeah, so little happens in so little time in this movie, yet so much happens that makes no sense
Yep.
and does nothing to push the story forward.
Nope.
So I love Louise Fletcher. I love John Rhys Davies. Like, they're great.
Mhm.
Can I tell you a secret?
Tell me.
I had a crush on Deborah Foreman all through the 80s. Well, I probably watched the movies in the late 80s and 90s, but
Yeah.
yeah, I had a crush on her. Like My Chauffeur, Real Genius, April Fool's Day, Sundown with Bruce Campbell, Waxwork. She was in like some of my most favorite 80s movies.
I get it.
And then Charlie Sheen, George Clooney, and Laura Dern. Well, we'll get to that. Okay, let's start.
Yeah.
In the vast Yellowstone National Park, grizzly bears and other wildlife roam free while hikers and campers abound. This opening fucked me up. Like, what the fuck? If this was obviously shot recently or stolen from a National Geographic documentary.
Literally, I'm not even joking. Like, my first note was the opening was very National Geographic doc.
Yeah.
and then the FX for the blood, so bad. Because in the beginning
The
they
bullet
shoot.
was fucking horrifying.
I was like, what
And
the
then they
fuck
had that
is this?
bear
Yes.
and it had the blood come out of it.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, is
That was like a,
animation? It
yeah, I
was
saw better
so-
animation like from a 90s arcade game.
Yeah, no, I was like, what the fuck? If this is setting the tone for the movie, we are fucked.
I had a note. Where is it? But seeing this set the tone for the whole movie. I was like, okay, this is going to suck some big ass balls.
So many.
Yeah, that CGI would have been horrible in 1983.
That like when I saw it, I was like, I don't even think we can call it CGI. This looks
No.
like hand-drawn animation.
Yeah, or it's stop motion or whatever.
Yeah,
they
it was. I was
draw
like,
it.
this is terrible. Who?
Uh,
Oh God,
The cinematography was nice. I'll give them that.
very pretty. Whoever did that for National Geographic did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I when the first few seconds, I was like, oh my God, the HD version that I rented was totally worth it.
Yep.
Little did I know. Okay. The National Park Service is charged with the protection of the park and its wildlife, and the rangers are always on the lookout for poachers. The park is preparing for a major rock concert to be held over 3 days in Grover Meadows and expects 50,000 people in attendance. At the ranger station, Chief Ranger Nick Hollister is briefing the rangers on the upcoming event.
Mm.
This part was fine. Like a little, not a whole lot of info coming, but it was it looked 83-ish.
It did. It did. And I'm not mad about that part.
No, not at all.
No. I was fine. I was like, weird opening,
Yeah.
but then park rangers make sense.
Yep.
And he's very much the cool boss.
Yeah. Yeah,
know,
definitely 80s. He had the hair and the
Yep.
beard and yeah.
He was very gallant.
Yeah.
You can tell he was very popular amongst his people.
Yeah, he looked like the dad from My Two Dads.
He reminded me of a Canadian actor, and God, I can't remember his name, but he was in the 80s Street Legal,
Oh.
and he was
Oh.
considered a bit of a heart. See, David Johnson.
Did he do Grizzly too?
No. He Street Legal, he was true. But I was like, if he had a like full beard and that like 80s feathered hair, I was like, he reminds me of him so much. Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was thinking of Street Legal. Whom every time he showed up, I was like, is that the guy from Street Legal? And I was like, no, it's not. But anyways.
Harvey, a poacher, is hunting for a grizzly bear and ends up killing a cub and wounding its mother. The grizzly bear, seeking revenge, viciously attacks and kills Harvey. Nick and Pete, the head park ranger, relay the news to Eileen Dragon, the superintendent. Dragon? Like dragon, like roar?
Yeah, Dragon.
Okay. The superintendent
No, like
of Summit.
Dragon. Like I'm
Dragon.
Dragon
Actually, okay,
her.
actually, that's what it actually looks like.
Mhm.
Dragon. Yeah, like dragon or the superintendent of Summit. They press Dragon to halt the concert for everyone's safety, but Dragon declines to get involved. Back at the ranger station, Samantha Owens,
Like every
director of bear
politician.
management, is adamantly opposed to killing the grizzly bear. She insists on locating the bear and tranquilizing and relocating it with the help of Bouchard, the world famous grizzly expert from Canada. Oh, fuck. This This is so confusing. And if you think this is confusing, try watching it. This movie is 20-minute bear and rest of the movie, 15-minute concert setup, and 40 minutes of concert footage.
Yep.
3 teenagers, here we go. Ron, Tina, and Lance are hiking through the park to the concert. They enter Grizzly territory, which is restricted. The sign was right there.
Can we talk about the sign that says closed because of bear danger?
Bear danger. That
Who?
was so stupid.
What?
Oh,
Bear danger. It's like who was on set deck for this? Because
yeah, they might as well have put like no picnic baskets beyond this point.
Yogi is not friendly.
Yeah, this Yogi no friendly. Yeah, that was pretty dumb. That was bad.
It was so bad.
And they set up without any clue of the terror they will face. They set up basically in a bear cave.
Pretty like right next to
The
the
bear
rocks
cave.
and the cliff. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's stupid. But fine.
Later that evening, they are attacked and killed by the grizzly bear. Okay, so the
Mm.
stars of the movie who got top billing on the poster and opening credits, Laura Dern, George Clooney, and Charlie Sheen, they are hiking. They stop, camp, talk, have a beer. They tell Charlie Sheen to beat it. Laura Dern gets down to her bra and panties, as one would with George Clooney.
Of course.
Bear attacks them. Charlie Sheen, not hearing his friends screaming from being ripped apart by Grizzly, or he's like, boy, do they fuck violently. He comes to probably ask them to join or where he can get some hookers because it's Charlie Sheen. The bear is still there, chases Charlie Sheen, who screams like a bitch and sells it. I would, like I said, I would be screaming very high pitched myself.
Yes,
He
you
gets
would.
cornered, attacked. Obviously, the tiger blood hadn't fully matured in him yet. And 3 stars are dead within 8 minutes of this film.
Yes, and it broke my heart, but also that entire scene aggravated me because I was like, the audio's fucked up.
Yeah, the audio was so fucked up.
It was a serious dubbing fail, and I was like, this is so fucking distracting. So I really, like, other than the dialogue being incredibly stupid during this point,
Oh, yeah.
it was moronic, but also the fact that it was very obviously dubbed, and I was like, now I can't even pay attention to the stupid dialogue.
No, and this is not the only part in this movie that's
no.
badly dubbed and
There's
off.
some really, really bad parts where I was like, why?
Yeah,
Why did you put this in the film?
yeah,
This is not okay.
yeah. The next morning, Nick, Pete, and Samantha find the bodies of Ron, Tina, and Lance, which heightens concerns for the concert scheduled the next day.
Mhm.
Nick demands that his men find and kill the grizzly bear. Running out of option, Nick drives to see the lady who will not be named and gives her a report on the new killings. Nick again asks for help, but Dragon again refuses. Meanwhile, back in the forest, Pete finds the other poachers and wants to take them into custody. Instead, they attack Pete, leaving him unconscious. The grizzly bear finds Pete and chases him into a cave where it kills him.
Mm.
None of the grizzly killings are on camera.
No, not a one. All you see is a roar and then someone's dead.
Yeah.
You 90% of the time you don't even see the dead person.
And all the poacher scenes, like drinking and dancing, it's fucking weird.
It's so fucking weird.
Then it cuts to them sober and setting up traps. There was no time lapse or
No, they're
Yeah, did
walking through
you-
the forest and then they're like trashed
yeah.
like 20 minutes later. And then 20 minutes after that, they're all like, they have the presence of mind when they knock the ranger out to steal his gun and his radio.
Yeah.
You were slurring your words 2 seconds ago.
And I also noticed too that it went from pitch black to
Mm.
barely light out to daytime back to pitch.
They did not have the budget for a continuity person.
No. As concert day comes, Charlie, the concert manager, is making the final arrangements. Large crowds arriving, large crowds that didn't look like they were from 1983.
No.
Meanwhile, the poachers are also creating traps by digging large holes and planting sharp and deadly sticks into them. The grizzly bear roams the forest, finds the poachers, and kills them easily. Again, we don't see it.
No. We do get to see
We
these
see the
bodies,
after
though.
effect. Yeah.
Yeah. But even the other bodies, we don't really see.
No.
Yeah, it's just roar, and then you know someone's dead because you see the stuffed claw. come through.
Yeah.
It's like, this is terrible, guys.
The chase then continues. Nick and Samantha, the Rangers, Bouchard, all scatter to track down the grizzly bear. I will say this. If you actually shot more than 20 minutes of movie with Bouchard, the poachers, all of it, including a bear that worked, you could have had a really fun B movie here. Like, I love the Bouchard character.
I hated him.
Oh, it was so bad. Like, his
He was
accent was horrible.
terrible. His
Like,
as soon as he started talking, when they were like, he's an Indian, French, Canadian, and I was like, so he's Métis? That was my thoughts. But I was listening to him and I was like, oh, he's supposed to have a French accent. The fuck is he doing?
yeah.
And then he's speaking almost like not quite grammatically correct English, but not quite broken English.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That was a
living in that gray
bad,
area.
bad
It was
accent.
so bad. And
And-
I don't know if you noticed this, but I did. In the movie, he progressively got more
Fatter?
caricaturely, like,
Oh, his
indigenous.
outfit?
His
Yes.
outfit, like, all of a sudden he was wearing, like, buckskin, like, oh god, what are those? Fringe.
I don't think he
And then
was
his
wearing
pants
the same
changed.
shit from edit to edit.
No, he
Yeah.
eventually started, like, it's supposed to be all in the same day, but slowly his clothing started changing from
Yeah.
mountain man to, by the time the end of the movie comes, I'm like, you look like a stereotypical, quote unquote, Indian from like a cowboys and Indians movie. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
That was
Just
awesome.
and it's he's played by a British guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
A British white guy. And I was like, I don't even, but it's like his character drove me nuts because I was like, God, this is annoying. But then there's something that the poachers say, or one of the poachers, how he was just like this French guy who his like wife and his daughter got killed by a grizzly, and then he went off the deep end, and all of a sudden he thought he was Indian. And I was like, actually, that explains the character so much more. I feel more comfortable with him now.
Yeah, it was, and then he was lifting up trees to show that like he's not afraid of the little bears. And I did like how he was boiling the traps
Yes.
in wood and stuff. But then the ranger guy's like, well, I want to see how these traps work. I'm like, dude, I've never hunted a day in my fucking life. I know how a fucking bear trap works. He steps on it, it closes. But
Yeah.
he actually takes him out and shows him how the bear traps. Oh my god, this movie was.
The park ranger has no idea how a bear trap works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That and yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah. The grizzly bear finds its way to the concert grounds. The concert goes on, and the crowd enjoys the cutting-edge English rock bands. Not one of those rock bands was English, and not one of those rock bands was a rock band.
No.
How they got Ian McNeice, he was just a roadie. He must have just started out. And if you Google or IMDb Ian McNeice, you will recognize him. He's much older and chubbier now, but you will know exactly who that guy is. He's been in so many good movies. How he ended up in this movie, I have no clue. Actually, how any of these people ended up in this movie, I have no clue. But the only thing that would have saved this movie, and I prayed like I did when watching the original Grizzly, but where Grizzly answered all my prayers spectacularly, Grizzly 2 did not. If that bear went batshit crazy and ran into that concert and started just slicing and dicing, and concert goers were just flying left and flying right, that would have been awesome.
I was expecting that. That did not happen.
Yeah,
Or to knock over the tower where like Dragon
and
all
crush a
the
bunch of people.
VIPs. Yeah, like I was expecting
Yeah.
something like that. Not that he was going to use the back door and then go under the cover of fireworks to start attacking.
And
some
he
people.
stood in those fireworks for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very odd.
And I did love how they were driving, and he was going to get him with the forklift.
Yes.
And that shot of the grizzly bear topping him over, it was such a bad effect. And
All
were
they did
shooting
was
at
they
him, and
took the stuffed bear and just rolled it towards The fourth
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, guys. Oh, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, all would have been forgiven if it just did something like that.
Yeah.
Now, what follows was by far the best thing to happen to this movie, but it wasn't Bear mauling a boy and his rabbit, then his mom.
Mm.
It wasn't Bear versus helicopter. It wasn't Bear versus a bazooka, but it was the most ludicrous and bad in a funny way scene in this movie. Backstage, Bouchard encounters the grizzly bear and stabs at her, but the grizzly swipes Bouchard with an arm and kills him. Okay, that doesn't do it justice. As the bear just stands there for a while, he throws a rope over the bear and then begins to climb it. Then begins to stab it furiously.
But let me
The
point
bear
out, he was
swipe.
using a hatchet to do that, which also when he pulled that out, that little hatchet, I was like, "Oh god,"
Oh,
we're
was it the hatchet?
before he attacks the bear. And I was like, "You're just going for stereotypical, like, indigenous. Like, what do you think this is, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? Jesus." Cloud dancing, that was
Um,
that was who this character reminded me of. Anyways, go
cloud
on.
dancing.
It's a character on Dr. Quinn
Oh,
Medicine Woman, and apparently that's who
oh, okay.
Bouchard slowly morphed into by the end of this movie. War paint, like there was face paint, the hatchet,
Oh yeah, he
like
had the war paint
dangling
on. Yeah,
feathers on his like bow and arrow, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But anyways,
and
go
then the
on.
bear swipes him off, and he goes flying through the air badly, and
Yes,
lands on a pole, which happens to look like a crucifix for some reason. I'm sure the
yes.
director had their reasons.
Mhm.
Nick has to act fast. He gets the grizzly bear's attention and lures her to her side of the concert stage containing the high voltage, which the grizzly bear falls into and is killed. I loved how Nick ran towards the high voltage, past Bouchard, who was still alive. The
Yes.
grizzly bear walked past and he just dangled there looking helpless. Dragon acts as if the dying grizzly bear was part of the action. The concert audience is cheering and applauding and does not know the truth about what happened. Much like the viewers of this movie, except we're not cheering and applauding. We just don't know what
No,
the fuck is happening. Um,
there was a lot of that.
yeah, we watched a movie with no more than 20-30 minutes of actually movie footage.
It was a lot of concert footage.
A
Um,
lot of concert
like
footage.
a lot. And I
Yeah.
think they were trying to do something with the park ranger's daughter and the British
Yeah.
singer. I think they were trying to, but I think maybe they just ran out of money and they couldn't film any more of it. So they were like, we're done the conversation. Um,
Yeah.
there was so much that I was like, I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get it. There were a couple times I laughed, and I was like, "Oh
Oh
god, I can't
yeah.
believe they're doing this,
Yeah.
100%." But there were a lot of times where I was like, "Who made this choice? Who decided this was the way to go?"
Okay. So let's pause for effect. And I'm going to ask Anna's score for Grizzly 2 The Revenge.
My score is 1.8.
1.8.
Not quite 2, 'cause I
Right?
think this is something if you watch this movie a couple times, I think it'll move closer to a 1 where it's so bad it's good. But since this is a first watching, there are still so many what the fuck moments you have to work
Mm.
through. But it did have moments where I rolled my eyes, I barked out a laugh, or I said, "Oh my god, it's so cliche, I love it." And then but for the majority of it, I just kind of spent my time going, "Why would they make this?
Yeah.
Why?" So, not quite appallingly horrible, but also not so bad it's good. But it could be. Like, the 3rd or 4th time you
Had
watch
the
it.
potential.
It
Yeah.
had the potential, like, they were so close to making it so bad it's good, but there was too much concert footage.
Yeah. Yeah. My score. Okay. Grizzly 2 is the result of producer intent on finishing a movie she began 37 some odd years ago. They literally took 20-30 minutes of movie, 10 minutes of new footage, early 90s CGI, and more than 30 minutes of concert footage and bundled it together and made one mess of a movie. I could see the very faint outline of a movie that may have had potential to be a worthy B movie full of awesome camp. But there was not enough shot back in 1983. So this became an obsession, and nothing really ever good comes from obsession, especially Grizzly 2, The Revenge. I gave it a 2.5. Appallingly horrible, just past that. This movie is an affront to all mankind. It had nothing good in it at all. It was bad across the board. That's the 2 rating. It had all the right actors for a 1983 Grizzly sequel. It had all of the outlines for a great story. In the end, it just didn't have any of it at all, and this movie sucked. But it was there. You could see it, like you said, where you could. It had everything going for it.
There were characters that were caricatures.
Oh yes,
like Bouchard and his like slowly morphing into an indigenous caricature. The poachers, the one poacher who looked seriously crazy, and you would never want to be alone with him anywhere. And like very over the top stuff, and the crazy bear lady where she's like so obsessed about like saving the bears. Never heard any of them. And I was like, you're
the guy
crazy.
setting up the concert.
The guy setting up the concert.
Yeah.
Even the drug dealer.
Was
wonderfully cliche. So I was like, you had the potential. Even as an unfinished movie, this had the potential.
Yeah.
She just stuffed it full of filler.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have almost liked to, I would have rather watched a 45-minute movie.
100%.
Yeah. Than an hour and 15 minutes, whatever it was.
You could literally take out 30 minutes of concert footage.
Yeah.
And still have concert footage in there.
Yeah. There was a lot. Like a lot.
So much.
All right. Buy it, rent it, stream it, skip it. If you've never seen it and you never saw it back in the day, because it was shot in 83, but it was not released until just a year ago. What would you say to someone who has never watched it?
Stream it. It's an experience. You're not going to like it.
No, it is an experience.
But it's an experience.
Okay, I wrote this down. Could it be rebooted or reimagined today? So hear me out. After the movie, you get an idea of what it wanted to be. So this is just me talking. Cocaine Bear 2. 100,000 people at a park for a concert. Drug dealer is like, I got an idea. We'll make a killing. We got connections to a cartel drugs. They meet. They have a standoff. Bear comes. Someone kills a bear. Other bears get mad and kill them. Then they do the drugs. Some other people stumble across the drugs, take the drugs back to the concert area. The bears are following the drugs, whatever. Park rangers dealing with bear attacks, drug cartel looking for their drugs and money, cocaine bears, concert going on. And it all ends with cocaine bears doing a bunch of coke and then storming into the crowd and just going nuts and killing and mauling people. I would go to the theaters and watch that movie. And you have to have a Bouchard.
See, I would go not quite the opposite way, but they would not have cocaine. But literally just the 18-foot grizzly bear who just stalks everybody. Yeah. So when the drug dealer goes, into the forest to take a piss, boom, grizzly bear takes him out. But in my movie, you see the kills.
Oh, yeah. You
have better effects.
Yeah.
You don't have 45 minutes of concert footage.
No.
But you do have concert goers being attacked.
That's what you need.
And when the VIPs are in the tower, you have that bear take out the tower.
Or you have that bear crawl up that tower and just go nuts. Yeah.
Or like in the original Grizzly where he takes down the tower with the ranger
the tower,
in it.
yeah.
Something like that. Harken it back to the original. I'm like, something like that. Come on, guys. We can do this. We can do this right.
Like, I don't know why she didn't call Charlie Sheen and George Clooney and go, you know what? Let's redo this. Let's redo this. Just give me a couple million.
Honestly, yeah, she probably should have called them and been like, look, guys. But they were probably like, if we don't give you the money, that means you can't put this out, which is good because it was terrible. But it's like great experience. Basically, like everybody who watches this movie, it's an experience.
It is an experience. So for the podcast, we hope you enjoyed our review of Leprechaun 2 and Grizzly 2 more than if you actually watched them. And seriously, they are not good. They are experiences, though.
Yes.
Please check us out on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or Instagram. Or if you'd like, watch us. We are live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. Or you can watch us on YouTube every Sundays or listen to us every Sundays when our podcast comes out, wherever you get podcasts. And for those who watch this live or later after we've already done it, we are going on intermission. And when we come back, I am so excited about this movie. Because I love the creature feature of the 90s, like I said. And I think my three favorite back in the 90s were, because there was a lot. There was like Ghost in the Darkness, The Relic, Mimic. Tremors is one of my favorite.
I love Tremors.
But for actual real or supposedly real creatures, Deep Blue Sea, Lake Placid, and the one we are previewing tonight. So we are going to go on intermission, and then we will preview Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, and the Jon Voight snake movie, Anaconda. Now, can I do this without...
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 3 minutes. The show starts in 2 minutes. The show starts in 1 minute. And now, on with the show.
And now on with the show. Why are you still up there? Get out.
You get out.
Oh, why is still up there? Well, let's put you up there. There we go. Okay, welcome back to the I Remember Like That Movie podcast. Again, like I said, I am really looking forward to this movie. I was already excited for this movie because I remember loving it.
I do not remember loving it.
Uh-oh. Why did we pick this one?
No, I liked it.
Oh, okay.
But also this one has been the longest since I've seen it.
Yeah, it's I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Because I had seen Lake Placid probably 2 or 3 years ago.
I love Lake Placid.
I love it too. So good.
Yeah.
Anaconda, I literally haven't seen probably 15, 20 years. Not even joking. Like it's like pretty much since a few years after it came out.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about what we remember about Anaconda. I think I went to the theater to see this. I rented it like day one, like when it came out on Tuesdays. I own the DVD. Ice Cube is awesome.
Yes.
Jon Voight stole the show.
With the worst Brazilian accent to ever grace the screens.
So good. Jennifer Lopez is hot.
I'll give you that.
The effects were awesome. This is 1997 saying.
Yeah.
Eric Stoltz. I remembered Owen Wilson from Bottle Rocket, but I think it wasn't until like after this he did like Armageddon and Haunting, and then he really started to get big. And I don't know who else is in it, but I'm pretty sure everyone in this is a good actor. As far as I can remember,
really
like there are
people in it.
Yeah. What do you remember about it?
I remember thinking this is terrible. Jon Voight has the worst Brazilian accent ever. He did not work with anybody for that. He couldn't have for what it came out. Ice Cube, I was like, wow, he's surprisingly good.
Yeah, because I think it was one of his more.
It was one of his earlier things. Like this even might have been his first acting role. Like it was.
Had he done Boys in the Hood by this time? I don't know.
I'm trying to remember.
I like all his movies actually.
No, he's a very, very talented actor, and one of my favorite movies of all time is Barbershop. I will watch that movie over and over and over again. It's one of my favorites. But like I was really surprised at how good he was. I think he might have done Boys in the Hood before this. Maybe. Yeah, well, we'll find that out later. But I loved him. Eric Stoltz was great. I loved Owen Wilson's character. Jennifer Lopez. I mean, maybe this is a controversial opinion, or it's just something that not a lot of people say out loud. She is a great performer. She is a barely mediocre actor. So the fact that she's a lead in this movie, I was like, you ruin it for me.
I think this is one of her first, though, isn't it?
It's one of her earlier movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think she had done a couple things before this. Like she had done a television show. She's a passable actor.
Yeah, like she's not Meryl Streep or anything, but I've always liked her movies. I don't think I've seen every one of her movies, but
it's funny because I've seen quite a few of her movies.
I know she was a fly girl on Living Color.
She was a fly girl, where she was a pretty good dancer. Still not great, but she was pretty good. But Jennifer Lopez is a great performer.
Yes, because her singing career was before this, right? Or was it?
No, singing career was way after this.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so as a performer, because she can do everything. Like I'm not saying she's the best or anything, but she sings, she dances, she acts.
This movie came out the same year as Selena, which was the movie that really put her on the map.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh my God.
Was it good?
Well, I loved it, but I love Selena, so It's based on a true story. It
Is that the
technically is.
underage girl with Jeremy Irons?
No.
Oh, okay. What am I thinking of? Oh, that's a way different movie. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
bad movie. It's a
That's
bad movie.
sir.
Well, Jeremy Irons, he's a good actor.
Okay, so before this, Jennifer Lopez had done Blood and Wine, which is a weird movie. Jack, which was also kind of weird, but she played a
Robin
teacher
Williams,
and she was
Jack.
very
That's right. Yeah.
and Money Train, and then she did some
Ooh,
Oh,
Money
My
Train.
Family or Mi Familia, which was very popular. And then she had a couple TV shows. I think South Central, she was starring in it. Hotel Malibu, I don't know if she was starring in it, but I think she was. So she had a couple TV shows that got canceled early, whatever. So she had a little bit of a name.
Right.
Selena really put her on the map. Like that's where she kind of became, because Selena was an international music star.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh, okay.
since
Yes,
she
I did
did the
see it. I
biography,
have seen
yeah.
this. Yeah.
So she did the biography of her. So then that kind of catapulted her. And then
Right.
she did Money Train, which also further pushed her star up.
Woody Harrelson.
She's still a barely mediocre actor, and that's fine. But she does what she needs to do in this movie. But I remember loving the snake, and I remember telling myself I was never going to go to Brazil.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's a couple of reasons, and you'll see them. Okay, so let's take a look at the box office. Okay, so it had a budget of 45 million. It opened at number one at 16.6 million. It closed domestically with almost 66 and internationally 71. So it made $136 million. And then I'm sure with marketing all that, it at least broke even or made some money. And then back then in 97, you have your rentals, your DVD. Like I said, I rented it. I own the DVD. I'm pretty sure it was not a previously viewed. I'm pretty sure I bought it new. So it did okay. It was a
Yeah, no, I
a
remember it doing
financial
well.
success. So let's go into some. That's gonna make it bigger so I can read it. So you can start with the trivia.
Okay, so during the filming of one scene, the controls for the animatronic Anaconda shorted out, causing it to completely lose control. Some of the footage is included in the movie.
They built two animatronics for this, and they weighed one weighed like 5,000 pounds.
Jesus.
It was a living, not a living, I mean, like an actual
Yeah.
snake. It's actually, both of them are in California at some natural, I think, a museum or science place and on display.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I thought it was all CGI, but no, they used the CGI for the Anacondas cost $100,000 per second when you look
Damn.
at how long they were in the movie. That's a lot of money. And
That is a lot of money.
for people listening, CGI did cost a lot more back then than it does now, or did it?
No, it did. It
Yeah.
used to be like exorbitant amounts of money.
Yeah, but you could do things that you never could, which was really cool back then.
Yeah. The Amazonian film shoot was occasionally disrupted by the fact that several cast members were clearly or deathly afraid of snakes.
Yeah, I guess they ran into some snakes in the
Well,
jungle.
somewhere along, is it along the Amazon? Yeah. There's an island that's called Snake Island, and it's
Ugh,
literally just filled with venomous snakes.
gross.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I would never.
The film makes mention of kangaroo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A tiny catfish, also known as vampire fish, which has been attributed to with the particular behavior of swimming into the human body through the urethra in men or the vagina in women, where it lodges itself with its spines. This is not as common an occurrence as the film implies. Only one such incident is known to have happened to a man where a small catfish traveled into the urethra while he was urinating in a river. This account has been corroborated by Jeremy Wade and River Monsters, Amazon Flesh Eaters. Just the fact that it happened once.
That's enough.
That's enough. I don't look
Yep.
at them. Oh, no, thank you. Gross.
This film is listed among the 100 most enjoyably bad movies ever made in Golden Raspberry Award founder John Wilson's book, The Official Razzie Movie Guide.
Yeah, there
That's good.
wasn't. Yeah, for a trivia, there wasn't a lot of stuff involving the cast. I don't know why, but
Oh, that's because at the time most of the cast wasn't
big enough.
big enough.
Yeah.
That's where they saved the
In,
money.
in reality, anacondas have rounded pupils. Picture above. In the film, the anaconda has slanted pupils to give it a frightening and villainous appearance, slightly similar to how the shark in Steven Spielberg's Jaws has eyes that stay black throughout the movie in an effort to give the shark a villainous appearance. Yeah,
Solid.
the one on above, the real snake, looks
Yeah.
dopey.
Yeah, the bottom one looks angry.
Yeah, that one looks terrifying. The other one looks, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like he
Like
wants to hug you.
didn't take his Ritalin.
The anacondas in the film are seen hunting in broad daylight and being able to move from the water to dry land with no problem. In real life, green anacondas are nocturnal animals and spend most of their lives in water. They are fast swimmers but cumbersome on land.
I didn't put a picture in.
It's okay. We don't need
I'll
one.
add an actual moving anaconda in the thing.
Oh, thank you for that.
Oh, come on. The anacondas in the film attack the humans, but not each other. In real life, anacondas practice cannibalism. Female anacondas, which are larger, are known to consume smaller male anacondas. That's rude.
It's the way of nature.
Actually, there's a lot of female things that eat male things.
Yeah. Because fuck the patriarchy. Gillian Anderson and Juliana Margulies turned down the role of Terry Flores. Jennifer Aniston, Kate Beckinsale, Nicole Kidman, Juliette Binoche, Kim Basinger, and Sandra Bullock were also considered for the role. Wow.
Good for Jennifer Lopez that everyone said no.
True story.
Strong language was dubbed with, for example, using freaking, I guess instead of fucking, in order to get a PG-13 rating. Not only do the ADRD lines have a slightly different sound to the rest of the dialogue, but the actors and actresses' lips do not match the new dialogue when they speak. Great. Now I'm going to be looking for that.
I feel like I remember that.
Maybe, yeah.
But I thought it was just
one of those
edited
things
for
that just seem
TV.
off when you're washing.
Yeah,
No,
I thought it was
apparently
just
not.
edited for TV. And I was like, well, shit. I did it to the real movie. Wow. Michael Douglas, Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, Liam Neeson, Jack Nicholson, Jean Reno, and Martin Sheen were all considered for the part of Paul Cerrone.
Yeah. There is only one actor I can see that could be just as nuts as Jon Voight's character, and that would be Jack Nicholson.
I don't know.
I mean, the other ones
Mel
could probably
Gibson.
do the acting. Yeah, Mel Gibson might have been.
He's got a touch of the crazies.
Yeah, he could probably do it really good too.
Yeah. They could all do it, but
Yeah. Gillian Anderson auditioned for the role of Denise Kohlberg, but lost out to Carrie Woo her. Yeah. Yeah, what happened to her? I'm sure she's still
I
acting,
don't
but
know.
she did. Seem to remember a lot more of 90s and
She was big in the
2000s.
90s. She was
Yeah.
doing a lot of work. She still looks
And
really good now.
beat out Gillian Anderson.
I know, right? For that role. The two large snakes seen in the film were actually animatronic. Were actually an animatronic 40-foot, 5,000-pound queen and a 25-foot, 1,500-pound warrior. Wow, they were very specific.
Yeah. That's a big. Yeah, and it lost control. It just started flopping around the set. Sean Connery, Tommy Lee Jones, and John Malkovich turned down the role of Paul Cerrone. So the other ones were considered. These guys turned it down. Yeah, John Malkovich probably might have been cool.
Tommy Lee Jones would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would have been
Sean
interesting.
Connery, I can't see it at all.
No, not at all.
No.
Okay, so that was our trivia. So now let us go to If I can't find it, I can't play it, can I? There we go. Yay! Tape.
Woo.
So, Anaconda is a 1997 mystery thriller rated PG-13 and comes in at 1 hour and 29 minutes.
Interesting.
Here's some taglines. You can't scream if you can't breathe.
Actually, that's good.
It will take your breath away.
Also very good.
When you can't breathe, you can't scream. Did I not just say that? You can't scream if you can't breathe.
And then this
If you
one's
can't-
when you
oh,
can't
they
breathe,
just
you
switched
can't
it
scream.
The marketing team was earning their dollars.
Oh, yeah.
It's a scream.
That's terrible.
Synopsis. Filmmaker Terry Flores, Jennifer Lopez, is traveling deep in the Amazon jungle looking for a forgotten tribe. Terry and her crew, which includes anthropologist Eric Stoltz, cameraman Ice Cube, come across Paul, Jon Voight, who is stranded on the riverbank. He offers to help them find the tribe, but his secretive behavior puts everyone on edge. They realize too late that he's using them to find a legendary anaconda that's worth a fortune if they can catch it.
Hmm.
And the movie poster, which we've been just looking at the DVD one.
It was a great poster.
When you can't breathe, you can't scream.
Very dark.
I do like that poster. That's a cool
Yeah.
poster.
All you can kind of see is like this section of the snake's face with the eyes, and I'm like, it's wonderfully creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great poster. All right. Now my favorite. I actually, before I forget, because I track it, there was a Facebook post where someone shared, it was just one of the guys today, and they shared it with like their friends who actually were then talking about going to watch it. The actual
really?
just one of the guys' movie. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Look at us influencing people.
All right, so Rotten Tomatoes, 53 critics.
Mm.
Yeah, that was cool. 53 critic reviews put it at 40%.
Interesting.
250,000 plus put it at 24%. Anaconda's pulpy pleasures are constricted by its own absurdity, but Creature Feature fans may enjoy its brazen silliness, is our critic consensus. So you may start. We are going with Fresh.
I'm ready. This surprise hit is unpretentious and silly. It never forgets what it is, a campy Jaws clone. Rob Gonsalves, Rob's Movie Vault, original score B. Sorry, those very small print.
Yeah, I had a full screen mine here. Anaconda is a skillful, if hokey, horror movie that will seem both familiar and campy. Barbara Schilgasser, Common Sense Media, original score 3 out of 5.
Anaconda, directed by Luis Losa, and all of the has. Let me start that over again. Anaconda, directed by Luis Losa, with all of the subtlety of a snake oil salesman, is in the great tradition of cinematic cheese as processed as Kraft single slices. Lisa Schwartzbaum, Entertainment Weekly, original score B-.
Has a running theme here.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
The monster looks like a manacle garden hose in a couple of sequences. Still, it delivers the necessary thrills and chills. Carol Buckland, CNN.com.
Maniacal.
Oh, fuck. Why do I see it after I say it? Manacle. I don't even think it's a word. Oh, that's a manacle. Isn't that on a... Never mind.
No.
Let's continue.
Are you thinking about monocles?
Monocles. That's why I stopped.
In its natural habitat, Anaconda can be appreciated for its campy pleasures, not the least of which is Jon Voight in a delirious balls-out performance as creepy Paraguayan snake poacher Paul Cerrone. Peter Canavis?
Sure.
Sure. Groucho Reviews, original score 2.5 out of 4.
If you shut your brain down, you'll have some fun. John Venable, supercala.com. Voight's performance alone is absurd enough to merit the film a look. Walter Chaw, Film Freak Central, an intelligently stupid creature flick, not to mention one hell of an enjoyable one.
Nice. It's a slick, scary, funny creature feature, beautifully photographed and splendidly acted in high adventure style. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, original score, 3.5 out of 4. Damn, that's high.
Yeah, and that's surprising.
Yeah.
All right, rotten.
Kick it off.
One never questions the realism of the remarkable animatronic and computer generated effects, but it's hard to credit a snake that screams. Derek Adams timeout.
That's good.
A little bit of trivia that I didn't put in it. Frank Weller. Is it Frank Weller who does Scooby-Doo?
I think so.
Weller or Welker. He does the snake noises.
Frank Welker.
Frank Weller.
I was disappointed. Morty Mapes, Movie Habit, original score, 2 out of 4.
What more do you need to say?
You don't need to say anything else.
To be honest, this is a 1-star movie, but I'm granting it an extra star because it made my face hurt from laughing. Rob Blackwelder, Spliced Wire, original score, 2 out of 4.
That's fantastic.
Oop, did it? Hold on. Yeah.
It's been quite a while since we've had a good old-fashioned monster movie, and apparently it's going to be quite a while longer. Chris Hicks, Deseret News.
That's awesome. I cannot give the film a high rating, but it was watchable, and between the snake and Voight's performance, I did not feel cheated. Mark R. Leeper, Rec Arts Movies Reviews. That's actually not a bad review, really.
Yeah. A silly and plotting Jaws ripoff about a 40-foot man-eating snake on the prowl in the Brazilian rainforest. Joe Layden, Variety.
A lot of Jaws ripoffs. We watch a lot of Jaws ripoffs.
Apparently every movie is a Jaws ripoff if there's a giant animal in it.
Fans of the horror genre may be tempted to check out Anaconda. Don't. Edward Johnson, Nouveau Newsweekly, 1 out of 5. Anaconda is about a snake that eats everybody. That's about says it all. Mick LaSalle, San Francisco Chronicle, 1 out of 4. One of the horror films that intends to be serious, scary, and bloody, but turns out laughably hokey. Mike Massive, Gone with the Twins, 3 out of 10. IMDb.
We're in the top 10.
108,000 user ratings. So there was a lot. There was a lot to choose from. 4.9 out of 10. Let us do the 10 through 6 positive user ratings. You may start.
Well, thank you. This movie actually inspired me to go to the rainforest. 10 out of 10. H. Joseph Mack.
I don't know if he's being serious or that was like, but the fuck, dude.
Why would you go to the rainforest after watching this movie?
Seeing that, yeah. Brilliant. The snake reminds me of my first wife. 9 out of 10, Pog 53. That's awesome.
Snaktastic, 8 out of 10. Videorama 759-859-391.
That's a lot of numbers.
It is.
There were a lot of Snaktastic, that type of things. Yeah. How many Hollywood actors does it take to fill an anaconda? 7 out of 10. BA_Harrison.
It's fantastic. My anaconda don't. My anaconda don't. My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun. 6 out of 10. Morrison Dillon fan. That's one of my favorite songs too.
Whether you're laughing at it or are we on that? Was that 6?
That was 6, my friend.
That was 6. Okay. So now we will go to the not so good ones. Whether you're laughing at it or with it, at least you're laughing. 5 out of 10. One guy rambling.
I am sorry to say this, but it's hysterical. 4 out of 10.
So
Broadsword, Colin Danny Boy.
It was bad, and you got a really long freaking name. You know, if you pretend you know what's going on, this is actually pretty exciting. 3 out of 10. Smells like cheese. I'm pretty sure we've seen this guy's review more than
Yes.
once.
Now I know what truly awful can mean. 2 out of 10. Gavin 6942.
And oh yes. Ready? These are the 1 out of 10s. Sucks. Tab 58. Hiss Off by PMOV. So bad. Mameros. So it's true. Jennifer Lopez really can act. I like that one. And the last but not least, Not Enough Sharks. X of 10, 1 out of 10.
Fantastic.
Oh, I love IMDb. So good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, get it a full screen. Okay. So we have seen everything. The last thing to see is, and I did email you, but I didn't hear from you when I sent you the podcast thing.
Oh, I totally replied to you.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Did you not get it? Because I was like, I think it's a really good idea for us to be on screen.
Oh, okay, cool. Then that's
while
we'll
watching the trailer.
So I set it up that we could do both just in case.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, so we will watch it, and yeah, because I when we did the Riverside, it was very choppy. Like even it wasn't very good. But this, I tested it. Knock on wood.
We'll see if it works.
So let's see if the trailer. Tell me if you can hear this.
Double check your gear. Make sure it's all on board. And pray you didn't forget your bug spray.
They have come to the world's most isolated jungle to explore the unknown Amazon.
You ready?
I think so.
And conduct scientific research to prove the existence of a long-lost tribe.
Shirishama worship giant snakes, anacondas as gods, protect us.
What is this?
Anaconda skin.
Is snakes out there this big?
This skin is 3 or 4 years old. Whatever shed it has grown since then.
Snakes don't eat people.
Oh, they don't?
That's it, man. I'm getting the hell back to LA.
It's always good to be prepared.
Now, they are the ones being watched.
Do you hear that?
The ones being followed.
Nobody move.
The ones being hunted.
There's something down there.
That's right.
No, I really mean it.
I really mean it too.
But not by anything human.
That's on the floor!
If we help him, then he will help us get out of here alive.
Get on the face!
You're gonna get us all killed!
It's coming down!
Anaconda. When you can't breathe, you can't scream.
That was a good trailer.
That was a good trailer. That looked like Is Danny Trejo in this?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. I love Danny Trejo. Yeah, no, that looked good.
Yeah, no. I feel like I should justify because I pointed out a lot of things I did not like about this movie, but I actually like the movie itself. Like,
Yeah.
I remember liking it, and I remember thinking it was a fun time. And just not a very good movie, but I liked it. So I'm excited to watch it again after so long.
I'm excited. It looks good. I noticed a lot of things with the similarity between the good reviews and the bad reviews. That this is a B creature feature. It's a little absurd, but fun.
A little campy, but a good time.
There's not enough sharks.
And Jennifer Lopez really can't act.
And Jennifer Lopez really can't act.
I like how that was the review. Also, it looks like Owen Wilson is playing Owen Wilson, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. Owen Wilson's best when he's playing Owen Wilson.
100%.
All right. Well, let's. So we both think we're going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And for those, just before, I don't think I found this streaming anywhere. I'll have to, if I see it, I will email you.
Yeah,
But I have not found it.
that's
But I
frustrating.
don't think I'm going to be upset. I might even buy it.
I mean,
If Deep Blue Sea wasn't available to rent, I would have bought it, and I would have been more than happy that I did.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So I might actually just, if it comes to rent, if it's a decent price to buy it, I might buy it. I wonder if the Blu-ray has any probably has special features, everything.
It is available to rent or buy on Prime.
Oh, okay.
Good to know. As well as apparently all the other movies that went after it. Like Anaconda 3, Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
Do you know I've
Anaconda
never
4.
seen them?
Me neither. I didn't know they existed.
Yeah, I knew they existed. They were all, I think, straight to DVDs. But I'm wondering, I don't know. I might have
There's
to.
also, I don't know if it's with the same people, but Operation Anaconda, The Battle of Roberts Bridge.
Oh, on Tubi, I found Piranaconda, a cross between a piranha and an anaconda.
Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
Anaconda. Yeah, I saw that one too.
I feel like I need to watch that.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a anaconda. I know
Anaconda
Casper
Con.
Van Dien is in one. I know who's the guy from Baywatch and
David
Knight Rider.
Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff's in one of them. So they got to be good.
I mean, of course, David Hasselhoff.
I'm going to
How
watch
do you
this
go
one
wrong?
first.
Although I will say this, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but I'm very also proud of it at the same time. But I rewatched Baywatch, the original Baywatch, from the beginning.
On Pluto?
Yeah.
Oh, on
No,
Paramount?
it wasn't on Pluto. It was on
Paramount.
I think it was on Paramount. I just started watching episodes and I was like, my God, Baywatch, you're terrible, but I love you.
Yeah.
It was
It's one of those ones.
Yeah, God, it was so
Like
bad.
Renegade and
Yeah. But then super young Jason Momoa on there. And then there was Baywatch Nights.
Yeah.
I was like, oh Lord. But anyways.
Oh yeah, 90s TV.
Oh,
it's fantastic.
So
not
good.
award winning or anything.
Oh God, no. It's not,
Not at all.
quality. Not
Just
quality, but
fun.
so entertaining.
Yeah.
So entertaining.
Yeah, like Highlander and the Beastmaster and Hercules and what's her name?
Xena
Warrior Princess. Yeah. All awesome.
Funny story, when I was working at a bar, we ended up having, I think it was the wrap party for Highlander, the series. So I got to meet the lead actor.
Buddy.
Yeah, I was like, and I think he was flirting with me too. So I was like, oh, sir. Why, yes, I would love to go home with you, but I have to clean up this bar after you guys leave. So I can't go right home. Sorry.
Yeah, let me make you a special drink and Anna will take you home in just a minute. Okay, and for those listening or watching live, please watch Anaconda sometime this week and come back and see if you agree with us. For the podcast, we are going to go watch Anaconda and come back and see if we actually like it as much as we remember.
Here's hoping I'm still entertained.
Yeah, it looks good. Well,
yeah, I'm going for pure entertainment. As long as I'm entertained and engaged, I'm cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.